Hello. Oh, it's that thing again. The sun's in our eyes today.
Yep, it's sunny today.
We're late. We were on the road and we were sliding in sideways, and we had to put the kids down with some pizza because they're starving. It's been a couple hours since they ate, and so they were about to die. And all right, we're home.
Yep, here we are.
So today we went to oh my gosh, the sun. All right, so today we went to another town about, I don't know, an hour and a half away, and we were handing out blessing cards. We took one of the boys' friends, we took him with us. So we had a car full of boys, and we went to like their downtown area, and then we went to like a little grocery store. I think some kids were handing out some popcorn. Got to give them some blessing cards. We went to McDonald's, Walmart. We just went honestly, and we kind of just like ran some errands. We had to buy a few things from places, and so it wasn't like we didn't go to like scope out any specific place, but we just kind of was like, well, let's just go over here. And they usually when we go, we get a pretty positive response. You know, there's a lot of people who are thankful. Oh my gosh, the sun.
Pretty bright today.
So people, they usually seem like they're, you know, thankful. We get positive responses. Every once in a while, we're faced with like, you know, somebody who doesn't want anything to do with, you know, the blessing card, or just nothing to do with like human interaction. One other place other than our experience today, have we ever been faced with people who just wanted nothing to do with us? Like, for the most part, it didn't matter if it was the adults or if it was the kids. And usually kids, you know, people won't turn a kid away. But today, it was like, this place needs a lot of prayer. I'll just put it that way. When you go out handing out blessing cards or witnessing to people, the experience you get isn't always going to be positive.
No.
It's not always going to be just, you know, big smiles and thank yous and responses that way. And one of Cash, he's our big blessing card. You know, he loves to do it.
Yeah, let's give them out.
But today he was faced with quite a few just rejections. And after a while, he was just really bummed. And so we had to pull him off to the side and say, listen, you know, this is, you know, we're so used to, you know, people like with positive responses. But these people who are rejecting it, they're not rejecting, we had to explain it, they're not rejecting you. They're rejecting God, you know, especially for those who are asking, what is this? And when he says, oh, it's just a blessing card, and they're like, no, thank you. They're not rejecting, you know, Cash, or they're not rejecting the person handing the blessing card. They're rejecting God. And without a shadow of a doubt, I firmly believe that everybody who knowingly turned away the blessing card or whatever, you know, just turned us away today, I believe that God is working on them, working in their lives. And it was just, at least today was just a little seed that was dropped. So, God bless you too. Thank you. But it was quite an experience.
Yeah, it was. It's crazy to see people that actually just get bitter to anything, Bible verse or somebody being nice. Just the pure fact that somebody's nice to them, it kind of makes them mad. But what you're doing.
It's a bee.
No, Nate.
Gone.
No, I don't see no bee. You just spit on me now.
Sorry.
But yeah, it's crazy that people people are so, I don't know what you could call it now, so disassociated with people and just don't like people at all. And not only don't like them, but they won't even smile at you. They won't have nothing to do with you. They just want their own thing and get away from everybody else. And it's kind of sad to see the world we're living in. But yeah, it's really crazy.
You don't see that so much in like the small towns. Even in small towns that don't know you. We've been to a few towns where people don't know us, and the small towns are really more receptive. Even if you can tell the people who don't really care about accepting any kind of blessing card or tract or whatever, they're still pleasant enough to just accept it and say thank you. But today it was just a flat out no.
I think that's just one thing in bigger cities, bigger areas. You're gonna get that. Little towns, they seem to have more decent people, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Overall, but they're getting worse. But and this town that we went to today wasn't huge, but still, it was just they was just all, I don't know, not all of them. There was a lot that was nice, but there was a bunch that were just totally I don't want nothing to do with God at all. And yeah, it's sad now.
But just more people to add to your prayer list.
Yeah, and I mean, you can pray for them too. That's a good thing to pray for people. But I mean, the Bible tells, Jesus says in these last few things that we'll be hated by all men, and also it talks about just the bitterness of people, in the Bible, and that's what we're experiencing nowadays. I was thinking about this, so I seen a verse today on this Bible app, and it was the verse of the day on this Bible app was, "Therefore whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon the rock." And I think, a lot of people have seen this verse, and they get encouraged by this verse. But if you read Matthew in chapter 7, 24th verse, there's really nice and builds you up. But before that, it talks about all these bad things and all these stuff that Jesus says stay away from. And you get to the first verse there, and it talks about, "Judge not, that ye be not judged, for with what judgment ye judge, ye shall be judged, and what measure ye mete, it shall be measured to you again. And why beholdest the mote that is in thy brother's eye, but considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Or how wilt thou say to thy brother, Let me pull out the mote out of thine eye, and behold, a beam is in thine own eye? Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye." It keeps going on here. I don't want to go over it all, but there's so much. But the ones that gets me is, it starts there at the 13th verse. It says, "Enter ye in at the strait gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat." Now, just right before this, I seen a video on this, just right before this deal. And I don't know, it's a weird deal that it was in Matthew chapter 7, but Matthew chapter 7 says there's not very many people that are going to go to heaven. I mean, that's basically what Jesus says in his own words. And, we've got to understand that too, that, there's so many people that are bitter, so many and so many people that think they are right. But it says that broad is the way to destruction, basically, and many there be that find it. It says, "Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, broad is the way. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it." And it says, "Beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing." And then the 21st verse there, right before it starts going into the next little bit, is, "Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven." And what is that will? You know, it is to continue on what Jesus taught us to in all these verses here. "Many will say to me in the day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity." And then it goes into that verse there that was mentioned in that, but therefore whosoever heareth these sayings of mine, you know, and I like verse of the days. If you don't read the full chapter, though, this is gonna be a awesome thing. You're gonna say, "Whoa, yeah! Whoever hears these things and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man." I'm good. I built my house upon the rock.
I'm wise.
And man, that's some serious stuff in them verses that we just discredit and leave out a lot of times. But that, I think that's what we see today is and throughout history we've seen that there's people that's just been bitter and hateful to the gospel, and we've got to know that exists too. So don't get discouraged because somebody else doesn't want to hear the gospel, or doesn't want a blessing card, doesn't want to be, don't. Sometimes you say, I've said, "God bless you" to people, and they look at me like I'm, talking mean to them or something. And I think that's really the way they consider it. When it's basically like cussing somebody out sometimes when you they react that way. If you greet them with love, a lot of people turn that away because they're just so bitter. You got to love everybody. Jesus said that. And it's interesting because it seemed like today, we all, we're not supposed to judge, but we all kind of look around and you see people that you might think they would be accepting to a gospel more so than others. And today it's kind of switching, and it has been for a while now, but it's kind of switching to where, not saying, "Oh, well, that person, it looks like they don't believe," but just it seems to me like more people are accepting that you wouldn't think would accept, and more people are denying that you would think would accept, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because that shows you where you need to focus your, it's not always about, "Hey, I need to go up here and talk to this older person because they might be a Christian already or something," And we kind of think that way in our own eye, like, "Oh, an older person, they've been in church or something," and a lot of times, no, not necessarily.
Not
and
anymore.
Then you've got some young person that maybe all, dressing hip or something, and they're the ones that accept more so than the ones that we assume have went to church forever. So,
but that also goes
something.
That talks about there in Revelation, the people who think that they've already got everything, and "Oh, I'm good, I don't need Jesus, I've got a house, I've got a good job, car, I'm good." Those people we were faced with a lot of people were like, "Oh, I'm good, I don't need what you got."
Yeah.
And that's kind of the people we were faced with, it seemed like, today. But the people who were accepting and thankful, and we could have a little bit, and we didn't get to have very many conversations today, but we at least got to chit chat like somewhat with a couple people. they were the ones who, yeah, I don't know, if you would have put them on, pinpicked, you wouldn't think, oh, they'll have a conversation with me, and we
Yeah.
did. So
And I think I think a lot of it is people are looking for something a lot of times that don't have it. Like you were saying, if we've got it already in this world, if we've already made our mind up to live with what we've got in this world, then we've got what's going to make us happy, we think. Um, but people are sincerely looking right now. And I think it's going to get worse here in the next few
well,
soon or months or years. I don't know when it's going to get worse, but it's going to get worse sometime. And I assume those people are going to be looking a little more, and the only ones that would have to turn to, because a lot of people don't go to church. A lot of people don't want to step foot in the building, which, I can understand that. I totally get that. And the only way that they can be reached, though, is by somebody witnessing to them on the street.
Yep.
Anything else today?
Nope.
All right. Well, y'all have a good week, and we'll see you Sunday.